We walk away from Saudi Arabia disappointed. I know we had a car that could score a point there, and yet we walk away without anything to our name. Now, in part, that was because Alex's car was damaged by Magnussen pushing him into the wall, receiving a penalty as a result of it, but then using tactics to back up the remainder of the field and create a gap so that Hulkenberg could score that additional point. Now, those questions on whether or not those tactics are viable or not, or unsportsmanlike, let's review that as an organisation and a sport going forward. My opinion from it is that's not how I want to go racing. In terms of the last two races, we've learned a tremendous amount about this package. The positives are that there's a corner in Saudi Arabia, turn 27, that last corner, where last year we just simply couldn't get the car rotated through there, and yet now the package we have is balanced and we're able to work with it. And the same applies to when the car really got going in FP1. The balance was there straight away and the drivers felt comfortable with it. And these are important points of what we need to do to make sure that we are moving forward in this championship and we have a car that can work at 24 races, not just at a handful. Welcome to the Vowles Verdict, presented by Kraken. The original strategy was to start on that medium tyre, fit the hard tyre somewhere around about lap 15 or so. It's a sensible region to go to the end of the race, and then to the end of the race, just wait to see if there's a VSC or safety car to then take another opportunity to fit either a medium or soft, just depends on what lap it was. When the safety car came out, that's in a good region where you can take that hard tyre to the end of the race. And because the pit stop is so long, it's around about 20 seconds or so, it just makes sense to capitalise on that. Under normal conditions, that medium tyre would just degrade more and more. The hard tyre didn't really have any degradation at all. And what it meant is the cars that stayed out would have just compromised themselves. That was near enough the result you can see up and down the field. In the case of Hulkenberg, it was only that Magnussen was able to do such a good job blocking and holding us all back. He was driving about a second off the pace in Sector 1 that Hulkenberg and Haas even had a chance of scoring points. Otherwise, it really wasn't the right strategy to be doing, and near enough up and down the field, those that did stay out lost out as the result. In terms of the safety car itself, before that happens, so laps before, even before the race, we start considering what lap are we interested in taking a safety car and what's the circumstances involved in it. And some laps are very difficult to adjudicate that. It depends on the circumstance, the conditions, probability of red flags. So lap 3, for example, is difficult to know. But where the incident happened with Stroll, it was pretty much very clear on the mathematics of the model that going to the end of the race at that point is the right thing to do. It's a good question because there's a lot of intricacies to it. So first and foremost, it depends on the gap between your cars on track. You need a good period of time between the two cars coming to the pit lane to make sure you don't hinder the second car. So something ballpark to 8 seconds will allow you to very cleanly get the first car in, complete the stop, reset the jack positions and get the second car back through again. So that's one reason why you might send one past and do a second lap, or why you might do a double stack. The second element of things is how high you're running up the field. If you think there's a high probability of catching the safety car by the time you get to the second lap, you clearly won't wait to go around one more time. You have to bring the car in immediately into the pit lane. So there's a function of your gap to the lead car and where you are on the track relative to where the safety car can come out. So fairly complex when you start thinking about it that way. The next element of things is if you go around one more lap, you get an opportunity to see what all of your competitors are doing at the same time, because a number may come in under the first lap or may not. And that gives you two benefits. One, you could change your strategy as a result of what's happened around you. For example, you weren't expecting a number of cars in and around you to stop, but they did. And that will now change you to a circumstance where you should also stop as a result. The second element to that is you want the pit lane to be the least busy possible. And typically on the first lap, it'll be reasonably busy. And the reason for that is you don't want to be held in your pit box and wait whilst traffic goes by while you find a gap in a very narrow pit lane. So to answer the question, it's not one aspect, it's a number of aspects to it, but the strategy team do a really good job of highlighting what those are going to be well and truly before the incident. So a lap or two before, and then we know what we're executing when the safety car comes out. In terms of aerodynamic loss, we lost around about a tenth worth of performance, but that doesn't really fully describe everything. Without the load on the front tyres were wearing also a little bit faster than other competitors now. It was quite sensitive in terms of front wear at that track. And so what it meant is over a course of a very long stint, like we were doing on that hard tyre, we lost out more and more with degradation. To answer the question, could we have scored points or not? With a car working absolutely perfectly, you can definitely say there would be a much better opportunity to have got through Magnussen. Also, at the start of the race, we didn't do the best job, and Magnussen was able to slip through. Had we been ahead of him, points would absolutely have been there for us as a team. In terms of the car pace, yes, I expected the car to be around about where it is. You can tell that that sort of midfield fight is very, very tight. Across the last two races, you've seen a very different order between teams, and that's just indicative of the fact that there's a tenth between four teams. And it just depends on which team gets it absolutely right on the night as to who ends up ahead. There are other tracks that will suit us more or less going forward. I think Melbourne will still be a positive track for us. It'll be interesting to see how the car performs in Japan. There's still questions over last year, and hopefully we've addressed the balance sufficiently to create a better package there. But I think the point that we have from this is that we have to be there or thereabouts fighting for the points when the top 5 teams leave any available for us to take. In this circumstance, where you very clearly have a Haas driving nearly a second off the pace in Sector 1, what you don't want to be doing is interacting with your two cars and fighting between you two cars. Whether you're chopping and changing places every lap or it's a one position change, irrespective of that, you want to take every opportunity to get through the Haas that you can, because there's a point on the table available to you. So the clear definition for the team is we need to do what is right for the team at this point. There's a point on the table. In terms of Logan's car, it wasn't damaged as a result of things, but equally his pace difference to Alex would have been about the same, near enough. And for me, that's not enough of a difference in order to invert the cars or create opportunity. Our focus was on scoring that point. Leah has done an extraordinary job. When you consider that it's now something circa 18 days in a single-seater car, and that's it. That's all the experience she's ever had. She's never driven a car before that. She's been driving rally cars and a little bit of karting, but this is her first time in this formula against people on the grid that are either in their second season of Formula Academy or have been racing professionally in WEC or other series. It's extraordinary to see her up in that sort of top 7 grouping, just a few tenths off where she needs to be. More importantly than that, what I can see is the progress. When she first got in the car, she was something close to 3 seconds off the pace, then the next day 2 seconds, then 1 second, then 0.7 of a second, then half a second. And that progress hasn't stopped yet. Every time she gets in the car, she is finding performance in herself and performance in the team. And that's what we're looking for out of things. I think she has huge potential, and you haven't seen everything she can deliver yet. Answering that question, it's valuable. Of course, we have pain that carries over from the first 2 races where I know we had potential to do more than we did, but that's positive pain. It really pushes us on to want to do much better as we go forward towards Melbourne. More importantly than that, it's an opportunity to step back and learn from everything we've done across the last 3 weeks, because it has been 3 weeks. It's been testing, followed by Bahrain, followed by Saudi, all bolted together really, and that doesn't provide much opportunity for growth or learning. It provides us opportunity to make sure we understand what package we have, what can we develop that package to be across Melbourne, Suzuka and beyond. What updates are we going to bring? What are they going to look like as a result of things? And you need time to be able to digest fully where you are and where you want to be. So for us, that time is incredibly valuable, and I think from it, you'll see us moving forward as a result.